This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about what Meltzer said of the Halloween Havoc experiment, if you will. Creativity versus credibility. In pro wrestling, you really can't have both. The more you have of one, the less you have of the other. Without a doubt, the finish of the Sting Sid Vicious main event was the most creative finish to a major NWA show in many years. It ranks alongside the twin referee finish of Andre and Hogan in the NBC special for creativity. Sting kept the NWA title, beating Sid Vicious in 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Vicious was cheered by more than half the crowd live. The match itself stunk for a main event, though no fault of Sting. Sid just can't work, but he sure does look phenomenal standing still. The finish saw them brawl, if that's what you'd like to call it, to the dressing room, while Flair and Anderson came back out to divert everyone's attention. They got back to the ring, but unbeknownst to everyone, it was Barry Windham dressed up like Sting. Windham collapsed on a body slam attempt, and Vicious pinned him to apparently win the title. Fireworks went off, balloons started flying everywhere, as if he had just won the championship. Then Sting comes out with a rope around his wrist. Apparently the storyline is that he was tied up and is now broken free, and he ran to the ring while the fake Sting ran away with the ref watching, and then he restarted the match. Sting hit Vicious with the belt, splashed him in the corner, and cradled him for the pin, half a star. So it's a lot to unpack. It's compared to maybe the biggest money angle the WWF ever did with the twin referee thing on the main event on NBC with Andre and Hogan and both the Hebner boys. But this was really, really creative, if not a little silly, to allow the match to be restarted, but then also allow Sting to hit Vicious with the belt. Well, that should have been a DQ, but whatever, what do rules matter?
Yeah.
The creativity is there, but maybe it's still a miss in execution. What do you think of this?
I thought there was a precedent for virtually everything we just discussed.
Yeah.
So restarting the match, seen it. The body double, seen it. So it was nothing really new. My problem was it was trying to put everything like that in the same match. It was too much, too many elements to try to unpack, as you say. And I don't know, man. It's just they're trying to protect Sid. They're trying to get Sting over. You can't do both. The boys can do it, how they work, but golly, Conrad, it doesn't make any sense. You can only accomplish so many things in a match. And when you got a new champion in a singles match, your focus is on the new champion in this match. And Sid gets a shine and gets some heat. Sting makes a great comeback and wins. That's the simplicity of this whole process. And that was, for many of us, we were so disillusioned that business had gotten to this level. It just didn't make any sense. It was Ole, I guess, outbooked himself.
So let's mention too that supposedly this was Barry Windham's idea, this finish, the old switcheroo and Barry dressing up like Sting. Dave would report that he heard that was Barry's idea. And it's easy to sort of second guess, is Sting the guy when Sid gets a big pop like this? But I just want to give you this for the context. This is the third biggest gate of 1990, $115,000 at the gate. So it's easy to say, oh, it wasn't working, but clearly something's working here. And by the way, behind the scenes, there's a legal battle brewing with the NWA and WCW. All of the NWA references are removed by Jim Hurd until we can work it out. What did you think of that NWA, WCW, this or that discussion?
A lot to do over nothing. Politics getting involved again. WCW's outward vulnerability was obvious to anybody that had any business acumen. So I can see where the NWA guys thought they might create, they're looking to create some money. Why else would they sue, Conrad?
Right.
They didn't want a letter jacket. They want a check. So much to do about nothing. And I don't know, you'll tell me here in a second. I don't think anything significant ever really came of it. Hey folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over to adfreeshows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, adfreeshows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads. 0 ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. But that's not all, folks. We got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to adfreeshows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
No, I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. Ultimately, you guys are just going to move away from the NWA completely, but it happens in 1991. Let's talk about the buy rate. When the buy rate for this show comes in, it's 160,000. And that's way down from Flair and Sting back at the Great American Bash. They had 200,000 buys there. So you would think, oh, we lost money. Not the case. Halloween Havoc had a higher price tag. And as a result, based on the increased price, even with 40,000 less buys, it's still a more profitable show. But I'm sure, at least on the outside, folks could say, well, that means things are down. And candidly, over the prior year, they are down. Halloween Havoc in 89 did 175,000 buys, and that was a different lineup. Obviously, we had Flair in the main event there, versus here, he's not. He's just in a tag match. And I think maybe that had more to do with the way Flair was used, not necessarily not being the top guy, but in a tag match. But maybe that's the thinking, that if you have Flair in a singles, he'll outshine Sting. It's sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, a little bit. Sure is. But Sting's got to raise his game.
Yep.
Knowing the lay of the land, and all due respect to Steve Borden. And he needed to raise his game a little bit and keep getting better. He's very athletic, so he was going to get better. Had a great aptitude for the business, so he was going to get better. But nobody gave him patience. Just the patience was basically eliminated. So, but it was a tough deal. Again, my theory would have been to make Flair a babyface. Yeah, and he become Flair's ally. And then a year later, all this nasty stuff we're talking about now, the Black Scorpion, all that stuff, and maybe a year later, it rears its ugly head somehow. Now you got Flair Sting. And after what all Flair's taught Sting, it should be a hell of a match. As far as psychology and so forth, they're getting to know each other really well. So I've seen them have matches I thought were really good. They were almost like an automatic pilot. They'd work together so much. But they always seem to put a little twist to it and make it different, especially the TV matches, pay-per-views and the clashes and things. So it was tough, man. Sting was up against the wall. He was almost in he was in a no-win situation. The way that we were booking Sting, he was never going to get over to his potential.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're going to notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.